I'm not seeing a live on Twitch or on. Oh, there we go. I'm not seeing it on LinkedIn though. Hello, everybody. How is it going? We are just trying to get our ducks in a row here. Today, we are joined by Karim Abou Shousha. He is from Ubisoft Montreal, and we are talking in-game lighting. I think it is a fascinating topic. You know, how does lighting work in games? It's often something that is overlooked, something that people don't think about how you bring these levels to life. And Karim, who joined us on the lab last Wednesday, started talking about how he got into this. And today we're going to see it live on how it's actually working. So first off, Karim, thank you for joining me on this Friday. How has your week been?
Hey, Greg, thank you so much for having me on again. I'm so excited to be here with you. This is Friday. It's a great day for me because it's finally weekend. And so excited to show the people some tips of lighting and how they can set up the lighting in the game or even the cinematic. So excited to start. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, and thank you. It's Friday, it's lunchtime, and at least on the East Coast, right? And I'm a true believer that Friday usually at lunchtime I'm not doing anything anyway, so why not pull up a stream and learn some new skills here, right? So we learned on the lab on Wednesday that you are just passionate about lighting, and I think that's so cool that you found your niche. Can you let us know kind of what we're going to take a look at today, what we're going to learn about it, and how we can go about starting it?
Absolutely, yeah. So today, basically, I'm gonna show you how you can light interior scenes and I'm gonna present some techniques for the games or cinematic, and also we're gonna go through the cinematic lighting because there is a few topic on YouTube to show the cinematic lighting, how you can set up the key and fill and rim light, how you can get nice mood in the end. I'm gonna also give you some tips about how you can get a raw image and then do some your color correction. So we're gonna have so much fun today, and that's pretty much.
Cool, man. I'm excited. Let's do it. So where should we where would you like to start today? You wanna start kind of with the basics on what lighting is?
Absolutely. So we're gonna go over all right on the Unreal Engine, so we can share the screen, and I'm gonna talk about how you can set up the base light in Unreal Engine, and also I'm gonna show the people how the images can be reacting in the real life and how we can try to make the similar thing in the Unreal Engine. Because there is a few tips. If they really learn these tips, I think they will get any realism image, and the idea today to get realism images better than anything. So I'm open Unreal Engine, and we can put the link below. This project is free. You can download it from Epic Store for sure. So if you want to just do practice, this is the train station. We have different type of lighting, and we can call this level. All right. So why this level? Because we can go through to the stairs, we can go down here. So it's similar like in the game, right? So how we can light this scene. So the first thing, when you become a lighting artist, you have to know the basics. So I'm always say, if you want to have a good light, put the base. What is the base? It's always about the sky. The sky is everything in the lighting. If you put the sky and then whatever you add after, believe me, your scene, it will look pretty. So if you have the Unreal Engine open, now we have no light. All right. So the first thing you have to make sure, open the setting and go plugin, search for HDRI. HDRI, for sure you can use it in the game or even the cinematic, but I like HDRI because it's much easier than the skylights. So turn on the HDRI. It's gonna ask you to restart the engine. Once you restarted, if you go here in the light, you will find HDRI backdrop. Okay. So as a lighting artist, you have to make sure that you are follow the naming convention to create your own folder to have more organization. And the first rule we have to learn: never work in the main game scene. What does it mean? So when we have the scene, we have something called levels. So each level, we have a level for the environment, we have a level for the props artist, we have the level for the programming, we have the level for the lighting. So to
Is this
work,
like Sorry, are you gonna be bothered if I ask questions while you're going?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Ask any
Is
question,
this?
please.
I'm used to like Photoshop and Premiere where I could have different layers, right? Like, is this the same thing
Exactly.
but built into the engine?
Absolutely. That's about the layers. But the idea here to have organization and don't mess with the other level because the game is very big. So if I am lighting artist and I'm working in the main level, so I might move something. So I broke everything. So do not broke anything in your scene. You have to create your own level here. So it's very simple. Go to the window and open level, and you can drag it and drop whatever you want. From here, you can go to your project file and create your own folder. And let's say this lighting. Okay. In Unreal Engine, there is something I'm always like to use it, set color and put your specific color. So for me, I like to have the red color. Okay, we
So what
can
are you
use this.
controlling here? These are the lights that are built into the level itself.
Sorry, what?
These are the lights that are built into the level itself that you're
Yes,
messing with. Okay,
yes,
so,
yeah,
so
exactly.
someone placed these lights. Was it you? Was it someone else? I know this is just a template, right? But in theory, is it you or someone else that's placing these individual lights?
Absolutely, yes. And this level is gonna be for me only. That I own this level, so no one can touch this level because it's my responsibility, you know. So I put the light. So whatever I did here, that's mine. No one can touch this level. So create, right click, create level, and let's say it's int light, the interior light. Drag and drop and put here. Double click, and the first thing you have to make sure, right click, make current, and also press on always loaded. So that's mean your level will be loaded, and whatever you play the game, you will see the light there. But if you didn't do these steps, you will not see your light when you do when you press play. So now we are ready to add inner lights. We can definitely use something here in the setting. It's called only in the current level, because also we have a bunch of layers here. I don't want to see any layer there. So make sure also you go to the setting and press in only in my current level. Now my current level is empty because I have no light. So the first thing I'm gonna start to drag and drop HDRI. So drag and drop anywhere and just push it down, and make sure if you have another level underground, so make sure you push HRI until you got this. So I think now I have a good level. And if we go back here, everything is still dark and too bright. So we have to extend the dome because it's like a dome. It's like it's 100% like in real life. So if you are look at the Earth, we have something like a dome. So we can extend the size for 1500 and make sure it's covered all the area. Okay, so now it's covered my area. That's fine. And if you want to keep your perspective always active, you can go to this menu and press in bookmark and set bookmark and press, for example, 0. So this control 0. So whatever I go with the mouse, if I press control 0, oh sorry, I have to press here control 0. Whatever I go, if I press 0, it's gonna bring me back to my perspective. So that's also something very important you have to learn. So now we have this light set up on. All you need to do, try to find the HDRI, and if you want to change the HDRI, you can simply get any one from HDRI Heaven. It's a free website. I'm always use this one. So you can download any HDRI and make sure you select HDRI, not EXR, and 4K for sure it's better. When you download, you can just drag it and drop. So now I'm gonna use the default one. But all I need to do, I need to change also the skylight, because the first one here, it's just like the material outside, it's like the sky. But to be effective on the lighting, you have to go to the skylight and drag it and drop here. So now it's there is a red error because I need to switch to the cube map. Once I switch to cube map, now boom, we have the light. But the light is too bright. So, but here, this is the first step. The second step, I'm gonna add post-processing to set up the exposure, to set up just the base exposure. And also I
Hold
need
on, sorry. Okay.
yeah,
That was kind of mind blowing here. So basically, you downloaded the HRI picture, right? That is just
yes,
basically saying, hey, I want this type of brightness. This is like the feel like of what I want, and you're able to just drag that into the scene, and the whole scene was able to adapt to that.
absolutely 100%. And you can even use any HRI light, and also by post-processing you can change the mood. So I can use this as HRI light, but with post-processing I can completely change the scene to the night mood. And I'm gonna show you this. And here's also some of the tips I'm gonna show you here. So I add post-processing, and I need to go to the search for infinity, because I don't care to have the infinity or just put your HRI in post processor in a specific area, but I need to have everywhere. The first step, you can go to the exposure, keep it on auto exposure, and from the min and max, put this on 1. Now we have this darker light. Okay, so if you try to add more light like here, you will definitely get lights, but it's gonna make some broken issue with the exposure. So what I am doing normally, I just keep the default value on 1 and go back to the post processing. And there is something very nice here. It's called shadow contrast, and put this on 0.7, 0.5, something between 0.7 and 0.5. It will make the shadow less contrast and will bring more light to your scene. Okay, and from mid gray, if we turn also the mid gray, put on 0.7, we will have this look. So now we are talking about the realism lighting. We just put the skylight, and this skylight bounced light everywhere. And here's the basic, because many people, for my experience, the biggest issue I saw in the lighting, they have very, very dark area because they don't put the correct HDR light. But in the real life, if you go anywhere, the sky, it's always on, so even in at night, maybe the intensity is low, but we still see some blue light or moonlight. It comes from the sky. So here is the basics. So just put the HDRI and put the post processing for this two value, and that's it for now. Why I did this step? Because in the movie or the cinematic, they always showed the scenes as a raw. What is the raw? If you take a look on the right, on the left side, this image looks very poor. There is no coloring. There is no contrast, nothing. And that's what you really want to do if you want to achieve the realism look as a lighting. So try to keep your light very basics, and after you finish everything, by post processing, you can change your mood. So let's say I have this mood and I want to change to the night mode. If I go to the color grading, it's gonna something very quickly, but we will go through this after. And go to the mid-tone, turn on gain, and if I just move this slider and select the HRI and put this intensity to 0.1, for example, and go back here, you see,
Yeah,
it's the same
changing that.
light. I didn't change anything in the light.
Right, it's just like it's becoming darker out at
Yeah,
nighttime, and it's kind of reflecting pattern. Can you change the color completely, right? Like if you wanted to make this a scene from like hell and you want to make it red outside, can you make it red outside and that kind of translates?
absolutely, absolutely. By color grading, you can do anything, because in the cinematic, you have to think about, did they shoot at night really? No. Most of the scenes they shoot at during the day, but with a change the color grading, they can turn any scene to the night mode, or even revert it, so they can shoot it in the day, and they can make the look and feel in March or any other look and feel. It depends on the colors you're gonna use in the for your scene or your cinematic. But again, we can just back to the base. Okay, so we put the base, and the second thing you have to think about the directional light. If you are working during the day, for sure 100% you have to put directional light, which is mean the sun source. Or even at night, if you have the moonlight, you have to put the moonlight source. So that's why we can add the second layer, which is called directional light. And from directional light, one of the biggest mistake, never ever put your directional light in the front of the camera. Never. Always try to put your directional light with the side, like 45 degree, and never put the light front of the camera. So always try to just have this nice angle. It's gonna give you some nice shadow, and it's gonna give you something like more cinematic. Okay,
What does it look like if you do put it in? Like, what's the front?
it's gonna
look
make your scene flat. So if you put the source light front of the camera, everything is gonna look flat.
like 2D? Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the exterior scenes. So if I have exterior scenes, you will really see this, because with the too much light, it makes everything flat. Even here, so if you can take a look on my face, now you can really see the details. Now half of my face is dark, and the other half of my face, it's bright. But if I turn my face like this, now everything's bright, everything's flat. So also this part of the cinematic, we're gonna talk about this in the cinematic mood, when we turn to the meta-human character. But yeah, again, just try to find nice angle for your light, and then you can change your color temperature. The color temperature is very important to know. If you really want to learn about the color temperature, you can search in Google and say color temperature. And this is the light. So with this kind of Kelvin value, you can change your color temperature mode. Here it's very simple. If you want to achieve the candle light, you can put your intensity between 3K to 5,000 to 2,500. Or if you want to have the daylight sun directional light, you can put 5K. So here, if you go back, use temperature on, and temperature set to 6,500. So I will just put to 5K. Now you see, I don't, just very simple, just use this value. So now I have this real light coloring. So instead of to use these wheels, but here I have the right color of the sunlight. Okay, and also it depends on your light direction. There is something sometimes I'm using. I can use something is called Atmos, Sky Atmos. Once you add the Sky Atmos, your light color, it will change automatically when you move your light. Oh, sorry, I turn off this one. I think we can see.
When you're messing with lighting like this, you're showing us on Unreal right now, and I know you worked on Ubisoft, and they have some of their own engines. Is it similar tools across the engines, where if you know how to do it in Unreal, you can figure out Unity, you can figure out the Unreal?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything is it's similar in any engine. Our engine is Anvil. We have the similar tools. I use Unity also. It's a similar tools. This is the basics. So we have the directional light. We have HDRI light. We have skylight. We have additional light like the point light or spotlights. So it's a base. It's a base in any software. Okay, so we can go back here and just put this in 5K, and we can put this value on 3 or 5. Okay, so I will keep this light like this. Okay, so I have this mode. So now it depends on what you really want to do. In the game, we have some rules, like the first rule, it's called navigation. What is the navigation? I start the game from this point. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna press play, and the character, it's gonna start the level from here. Okay, this level is too big. I want this character to go to the left side, to the right side, not the left side. So you have two options. The first option, you can put blocking to not let the player to go there. But in RPG games, you can go anywhere. But in the meantime, I need to let the player to follow the navigation path. So I want him to go from point A to point B. So to bring the attention, here everything looks okay. I'm looking here and I can go there, I can go there. But no, I just want him to go to this way. So here you can start to play with your light. So I can put, let's say, red color. Okay. And I'm gonna make it more softer. And I will add volumetric. I need to add some volumetric. And also I need to add the fog to just make the volumetric fog effective. So now we have this nice hazy mood. Okay. So if I go back here,
Look at you go.
you see
Boom.
the light.
Yeah.
This I didn't do anything. It just put the base light. Just this is the basics. Okay. So if you go here, you see now your eye, it's gonna bring the attention to this place. Why this place it looks brighter than the other places, and why this color is orange? That's mean you have to go there. If you play any game, you will always find this. So sometimes you can bring the attention by flickering. I can put the lantern or any spotlight and make it flicker. If you play uh, Tomb Raider, no, Uncharted, The Lost Legacy. The first scene in The Lost Legacy, there was a door, and she has to go through the neighbor, and then she has to turn from the other street to come to this door. And this door, it was very visible from too far away, and it was flickering. So you start to feel, okay, this blocking, this blocked, this blocked. So I have to turn to the left and go to this door, because this door there's something there. So that's why, as a lighting artist, it's sorry,
Well, as
we
a
have
lighting
a very
artist,
important job. Yeah, that's my job.
are you
So
working closely with like the level designer or some other people and say, hey, like this is what you're thinking. Let me help bring this to life. Like,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, I'm always work close to the level and the environment artist, and the meantime for sure the art director, because art director, he always give me the moods and the reference that we are looking for, why we have to go there. But normally in any game we have the tools, it's called navigation. I don't really know if we have this in Unreal Engine or not, but I'm sure these tools, it's an Unreal Engine. But in our engine we have something like grid. You see this plane. Okay, normally the color, it's green or whatever this color, but when I turn this on, I can really see the navigation bus, so I can really know the player, he will go from here to there to there. And here I can't put any light source. So if I put the light source here, I broke the game, because let's say you are play a Creed, the player, he gonna hide behind this wall. If I put the light there, it's gonna broken with the collision. So I try to avoid any light source near to the player navigation. So this one of the rules also. So never put the light nor the place that the player gonna hide. Never put the light to be near to the collision, because if the player gonna jump on and I put the light here, I'm gonna proc the collision, right? So try this also something, it's in L2. We try to avoid the player navigation. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, I mean, you say you break it, you're just getting in front of the light, right? Does that mean you're going to get detected, or are you actually breaking the level?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
And in
crazy.
the meantime, you have to be smart. It doesn't matter to add too much light. For example, in Mirage, our goal to just have less light, but in the meantime to very focus on the visual. We need to, because we have a huge world and we are using very old light like candles or some lanterns. So we put less light, but in the meantime, okay, when you have this light, okay, this light it's really affected this world or in this area. So like what I did here, I put the orange light to bring the attention. Okay, so now I can go through here and okay, I'm gonna go down and start to go this area. It's the same thing you can do anywhere. So whatever you want to player go. So if even if this area is blocked and you want to player to go there, you can start to put the light here. So here I put this light and I can bring, you see this attention. So here there is something I can go there. I can go here and turn to this way and then go back to this way and until I reach this area. So here you can let the player to go this way without thinking too much, because in RPG games now it's we have a huge world, but how I can let him just to follow the story with the lighting, you can do this.
Are there any games that, outside of the Assassin's Creed games, that when you talk about lighting and you think about like this game did it really well or perfectly?
Uh, yes, there is many game for me. My favorite game is Uncharted 4. I will not talk about the Ubisoft because yeah, I'm fan with Assassin's Creed for sure. But Uncharted game at this moment, we could talk about 2016, I think, or 2014. But until now, I still say this is the best graphics ever I seen in my life. Even the lighting and everything. But the secret in this game, because they are using the storytelling and they are using every single scene as a art. The problem with our games now, we have a 24-hour light circle, so it's very difficult to control and make a nice visual. You can't imagine how hard it is. So when I have the light move 24 hours, in the middle of day I get too much exposure, so I have to bring this down. And how you can make a nice visual in this time of day, for example 12 p.m, the light it's in the middle of the sky, everything looks flat. So but before, you just put the light and this light is picked, so I can put the light from the side, I can make a nice visual. We focused more on the visual than the environment. But now we have a huge environment. We just put some random light everywhere, and in the end of the L3, sometimes we'll put very random lights to just fix to just light the scenes. But if you ask me, I would prefer to have small level, have a nice visual, to have a nice concept, and that's it.
Yeah, you say some of this stuff, and I think back to like Splinter Cell. Those were the games I kind of played, right? And how lighting was so intricate there, making sure you stay out of the lighting. And one of the questions I had is when you were putting the red down in the little hallway. You talked about increasing the. I don't know if you said fog, right? But the fog, the kind of how wide the light is. How do
Yeah.
you figure out these little details and best practices? Are you watching YouTube videos? Are you watching courses online? Are you learning from others in the industry? Like, how do you figure out these little details?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Basically, there is something is called the art of lighting. So what I did in my life, there is a three thing if you want to become a lighting artist: to learn about the color harmony. what I did here, it's something is called color harmony. What is the color harmony? It's to choose the light to make the emotional. If I have something in action, all the action scene, it looks more greenish and have some red. If you are in the bad day or the depressed day, you have too much fog, you have less contrast coloring. But if you really want to know what I mean, if we search for color harmony in movie, the best practice for me, Pixar movies. I'm really like to watch Pixar movie. With Pixar movie, you can really see how the color harmony can be effective on your even emotional. Uh, See this, that's called the color harmony. To choose the color palette you're gonna use, that can completely change your scenes. So I'm always care about the color harmony. You can search about the color harmony. You can search about for the light of art, how you can use the light to telling the story. Let's say I am in the jail and I have you are in the conversation or you are in the podcast. The most podcasts you put the light from the top,
Yeah.
right? So if you ever see any podcast, they always put the light from the top. Why? To just keep the focus on the eye, and to because you want to have more connection with the people. But if I want to talk about something more mystery or something about the horror story, so I can do something like this. I can put the light from the side and turn on the other side, because I am talking on only something, the height side of the story. Okay, so that's called the art of lighting. I can even send you some link, we can send it to the people here. It's very important if you really want to go deep with the lighting. um, Learn about the color harmony, learn about the art of lighting, learn how to use the source of light. That's how you can make your scene looks way better.
Yeah, this is awesome. I never realized color harmony is a thing. You know, I'm trying to dip my feet into like design and stuff, and I'm trying to find which colors work with what. And color harmony is awesome. I'm going to look more into that. We do have a couple of questions. The first
Yeah.
one coming from Tim on LinkedIn saying, I may have missed this, but how do some of these effects get impacted by lesser hardware?
Which effect you mean, the fog?
Any of the lighting, I think, in general,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like,
depends. If we are working in games, we have to very care about the optimization. What I did here is not about the games, because in games we don't use the actual fog. We create planes to fake the fog. It's called fog materials, and then we can put it in this place. With the lighting, as a hardware, we can't put more than four light in the same place, because we have something called light overlapping. And if you put more than four, you will get you will have drop for your frame rate. So if you are working the games, you have always turn on show FPS. As you can see here, but because I have a good graphic card, so my FPS now is turned on in 100. But if you have that graphic card,
fancy.
you have to make sure your FPS or frame rate it's turned in 60 frame or 30. That's max.
What
Okay.
type of graphic card does a lighting artist use?
Oh, it's completely affecting on your mood, because here in Unreal Engine, for example, we have the engine scalability setting. So I can, because I have 4090, I can put to the cinematic. So
Nice.
and whatever I did, my scene it will turn very smoothly. Okay, but if you have bad graphic card, your every single light you will add in your scene, or even every single props you add your scene, it will make your scene very heavy. But in the games, as I tell you, everything is optimized. Even the props, even the light, you have to care about the optimization. So if I put the light, I you see these scales, this is a very bad scale. So you have to change the radius to make sure you have enough value. And if you want to add another one, you have to make sure this not overlapping. Even if you have it just small space between this and this. So you see this space, it's enough for me. So in this case, you have a good lighting. And also shadow. Shadow, it's one of the biggest problem in games. If you are using point light, never ever use cast shadow. We never use cast shadow in point light. Instead of this, we use something called light function to fake this light shadow. I'm not sure if I have one or not, but we use something called a light function to fake this shadow in point light. But if you are using spotlight, 100% you can use the shadow. Because why? The problem with the point light, it casts 360 shadow. So I have the shadow in this side, I have shadow on this side, I have shadow on the top. So that's too much.
Too many
But
shadows.
yes, too many shadows. But with the spotlight, it casts shadow in only one direction. And
Mhm.
that's why most of the games you always use the um spotlight. But let's say you have lantern, for example, on the ceiling or on the wall. So we are using the point light to fix this light, turn off the shadow, and add cookies. Something is called cookies or the light cookies to fix this light. And then because I need a player who, when he comes close to this light, to have the light interact and also to have the shadow, so I can put the this spotlight and you can scale it, and that's it. So now if the player go here, you see the shadow will
Mhm.
be effective. So here you put a nice lighting, but in the meantime, you just put in mind you have to care about the optimization. This is the basically in the games. But this techniques only using games. So in the cinematic, you don't care. You can do whatever you want. I can even put hundreds of lights in the same place.
Well, while we're on the topic of shadows, we got another question: is what is the difference between soft and hard shadows, or is that kind of what you were just talking through?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so basically, if you want to get some nice cinematic scene, always try to put the soft shadow. But the only thing can be different with the direction lights. Why? Uh, if I just want you to go outside during the day and put something like cubes and start to see how the shadow looks during the mid of day and in the sunrise or the or in the sunset, as much as the sun source is bigger, you will get softer shadow. And when this light source is smaller, you will get hard shadow. So depend on your scene. So if I have a candles, this candle source, the radius, it's too small. So that's mean you will get hard shadow. If you put soft shadow, it will not make sense the related to the real life. But if you have very big source light, you will get more softer shadow. So that's rules. Bigger light cast more soft shadow. Source a small source light, it will cast more hard shadow. So here is the base you have to learn. If I go here and turn off this one and add sky, you see here we have this the direction light or the sunlight from the source angle. If I put this value on 20, I will have this bigger source light. So if we go back here, you see now we have more softer shadow. Let's bring it back 0. We have this very hard shadow. If we take a look here, we don't have any source light. So now the sunlight, it's too small. As much as you make it bigger, 10, will get more softer shadow. But again, it depends on your scene. In the cinematic shots, we never put hard shadow. I am always try to put soft shadow, but in the meantime, I need to show the details, so don't go crazy. But I mean, if you want to make realism look, always think about how big this source light. If this too big, make the shadow more softer. If this small, make the shadow more harder.
So a hard, just dumbing this down for me, right? A hard shadow is like a brighter light, like when you make it hard, right? It looks like it's more yellow, or not more yellow, more white.
No, no, it doesn't. It's not about the intensity. It's about how big it is. You know,
Oh, okay,
even
okay.
if it's too far. So it depends because every source of light has a specific size and have a specific radius. So the candles just cast the light to this radius. But if you have a ceiling light, it's gonna cast more radius. So here is the point. You know.
Yeah, okay. We had a follow-up question, kind of how
Yeah.
important is volumetric fog for lighting?
Sorry. What is the question again?
How important is volumetric
Oh my
fog
God.
for lighting?
Oh, it's very important. Okay. Simply, volumetric fog can make depth. We are using to make the depth and to make more blending between the assets. If we take a look here, everything looks flat. It looks so boring, but with the volumetric, I start to see some depths of the background. So volumetric fog, it's very important. But some people they are using too crazy. No, you have to be smart. Where exactly you have to put this fog? So if I want to have hazy mood or I want to have more depth in the background, because you always think about this background is a layers, okay? And
Mhm.
I want when I just look at this scene, I want to go through all of this layer. So if I turn off this fog, you see, everything looks flat. I can see everything's clear. For this area, it's similar than this area. Everything looks the similar, but I want to make my eye have different type of vision. So with the volumetric fog, we're using for this. So now I have more layers. I can really see some isolation between these assets and the background, right?
Mhm.
So that's why the volumetric it's very important. But be nicer with the volumetric fog, and also the bit related to the scene. What kind of scene of you're gonna use? Sometimes I just use the volumetric. Let's say I will put this light here, okay, and put it in the ground, and I will add 10 because I will put the character here, and when he start to talk I just need to have this hazy effect on the right side because I need this area to be darker or more brighter. So it depends on your story, okay.
So if I wanted to create like Silent Hill, is that volumetric fog just all the way up?
Absolutely, yeah, Silent Hill, yes.
Can we see what that looks like? I mean, are you able to just do that on Unreal? We can kind of see what all of a sudden 100%, maybe 100% is too much. I don't know. Maybe you just don't see anything.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, I love the foggy effect in Silent Hill, and also I think Alan Wake
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, it's really
I
nice.
remember Silent Hill. It was like one of the first
So,
games I
but
remember playing. It
not
was one of the
that
scariest.
too.
I still think Silent Hill is the scariest game ever created.
Absolutely, it's that's right. So let
Make
me
it
put this value
extreme.
here, but I need to have now everything looks flat, but I need to have this kind of depth. So we have the start distance. Oh, no, not from here. Oh, I think, yeah, here. Start distance. Here is also something very important you have to do in games. Never try to put the fog too close to the camera. Just try to have more space. Why? Because if I press play from here, you see now I can see the character. I don't want to make the character looks flat because
Mm.
when it turn it on, I need to see the details on the on his custom, the guns, and also because the environment artist he spend a lot of time to have these details. So I don't want to miss with this. When I get close to the camera, oh my god, I can really see the reflection. I can see these small details. But take a look here. If we make this. everything back to flats,
Yeah.
right? So here I have this mode, but in the meantime, I put this too much fog. And for sure, the fog, sometimes you need to add some dynamic fog, like the fog is moving. That's we can use the fog material to have the fake fog, to have some nice fog animation like in real life, and also to break this the huge fog, because the fog in the real life it never comes one shots. No, we have some space between every shot, every fog, so you can definitely use this. And by the way, whenever you have the foggy modes, always go to the post processing and go the mid tune gain and just get something like this. Okay, and from the global situation, turning this to zero point 0.9, and for sure we can where exactly here, make it more darker. Now we can get more cinematic and look and feel. So because the fog in the real life, it looks more bluish than the white. Okay, so here the white, but here I can bring it more cinematic, but also it depends on your scene. If you take a look here, we create a nice color harmony. The best color harmony you can use, the orange and blue or yellow and blue. So here we create color harmony without doing anything. But the best practice, you have to watch a lot of reference. Uh, if I open my art station, if you
Your
want to
Toy
get it
Story
better,
yellow and blue. Is that why your Toy Story is yellow and blue?
yes, you see here I have a bunch of image of reference. I'm always like it because I want to have some reference if I want to bring it back. So take a look on this one. This is the
Yeah.
best color harmony. This, the over mode is blue, and he put some orange light color. So that's make the scene, even from very far away, you can really see this details.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can make everything out, yet you're miles away.
Yeah, you see in uh, the Last of Us here, it's a horror game, so we using red to bring this horror mood. You see this very low saturated mood. It feel depressed because if you want to learn this without any complex information, I am gonna ask you what you feel during the winter, especially in the foggy day. For me, I love the summer than the winter, so I'm always feel depressed. Even everyone in the winter start to feel depressed, or you start to feel sad because everything looks white. The color has low saturated, but during the spring or the summer, everything looks shiny. We have a crazy nice sky. We have a very contrast in the trees, so it makes your emotional more happiness, and that's why the God created the fourth season to have different this type of feeling during the fall or autumn season, when the trees start to fall, the leaves start to fall, and we have this kind of different color, orange, blue, yellow. You start to feel, wow, that's something very nice. I'm really like it. So here you can't play with the light. So from the real life, you can really learn about this. But
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love your analogy with the seasons. I mean, I remember I have a video of me filming my kids jumping around the leaves in the fall, and just like you see the colors, and it just screams fall, right? You have those reds and oranges, and all the colors that you see when your leaves are falling. And you say winter, and I agree with you. But every once in a while, you look outside in winter, and it's shiny and bright, and you're like, "Oh, it's a beautiful day out." You think it's gonna be great. You walk outside, and it's freezing. But I love how you're just utilizing color to kind of tell those stories. I think it makes so much sense, and
thank you.
immediately makes your mind click to exactly what that feeling should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best practice here, as I told you, I love the Pixar movie. Take a look here. Everything looks has lucid dark, but be careful. This is the same environment. Nothing changed in this environment. But if we go back, I just need to see now when the wedding scene. uh, for example, here you see this.
Uh,
This is
you
called
can make
happiness.
you can make everyone get sad at the end of our stream here by showing this part of Up.
Oh my god, yeah, me either. You see here, everything looks the happiness, too much coloring, shiny, and this movie, the color start to drop down until we lost all the saturated. You see here, the winter, that's make boom
Hmm.
is depressed. You see?
Yeah.
When she gets old, look at this scene. This is the best scene you see in fall time. She started to get older. They still enjoy the life, but there is a hidden part. There is something. It's gonna broke his heart. So she get older and she gonna die soon. So okay, it's still shiny, but it's not like before. Before it was too shiny. You see, this the same scene. Everything is similar, but different color, different light.
That's crazy. I mean, when you watch a movie now, right? Like, do you pick up on these details right away, or does it take a couple of watches for you to like figure this out?
Yeah, for me, I'm always care about this thing. Whenever I watch any movie, I'm always see why they use this color, why they use this light, because this is the best practice for you. All of us, we watching movie, TV series, whatever you're watching. So I know it's gonna hard because you will not focus on the story, but for me as a lighting, I'm enjoy with this.
No, it's amazing. I mean, it's a story in itself, and I love how you're depicting it. I think it makes a lot of sense, and
Thank you.
to your point, it travels very well over to gaming as well, right? You get that same look and feel.
Thank you so much. So,
I think we got about a few minutes left. I think.
yeah.
Is there anything you want
Uh,
the audience to know? You want to talk about kind of what you kind of teach, Art Station, and anything you want to let our listeners know more about?
Yeah, in my YouTube channel, I have a great courses. All of my courses now it's for free and it's available on my website or even on YouTube. I have many tips on YouTube channel. You can follow me on YouTube or even my website linkmentor.com. I'm gonna make a new course because this is something very important. I was planning to make a boot camp to let the people how they can get approval in the game company or to pass the interview, but I was sick, so I canceled this boot camp. But I'm gonna make this course and I'm gonna upload it all for free. You're gonna learn a lot of tips about how you can pass the interview, what you have to learn, what not, what you can answer, what not. So always follow me in my YouTube channel and LinkedIn. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to book me anytime. You are very, very welcome. I'm really enjoy, Greg. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really enjoy. And yeah, if you have any question about the lighting, if you want to become a lighting artist, the best practice for you, learn from the real life. If you want to know how to make the candle light, bring the candles, turn it on, turn off all the light, and see how it reacts, and start to think, okay, w- how long this distance it's gonna be bounced this light, what the shadow will be, it's gonna be hard shadow, how the color looks like. So take some picture, go around, go outside different type of time of day, take some shots. So this is the best way to become a lighting. But believe me, if you don't do this, you will never become a good lighter. Good
I
lighter has to be, put yourself in the real life.
I love it. I often hear that a lot, right? If you want to get started with something, just start doing it. You'll start to learn what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. I personally, I'm messing with different things now. I've been watching TikTok videos on things like Canva, right? There's tutorials all over the place that can teach you how to get started, but it requires you to download the Unreal Engine or download the Unity Engine. Just start doing it. You're not going to break anything, so you might as well start doing it and learning kind of where you can use that help and how you can get better.
Exactly,
Unless
exactly.
you're doing it, you're not ever going to get any better at it.
Yeah, and the last thing, if you take a look at this one, you see how when the sun start to go away, that's mean losing hope. So he went to his house alone, and now no more sunlight. Also with the sun direction and movement, you can telling the story. Now my emotional, I feel okay. I feel really sad because he lost all the hope. So
Crazy. I
now
love it.
no more light. boom, it's the end of the scene. I'm very sorry to make you sad, but this is something it's very important to you have
Yeah,
to
it's a
learn.
great movie. If you're gonna reference any movie, Up is a perfect. I mean, look at the color; it's
Yeah,
fantastic, and I think it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that's it.
Cool, Kareem. This was amazing. We will have links available afterwards to all of Kareem's content, his ArtStation, his YouTube, his LinkedIn, so you can figure out more about him.
Yeah,
This was awesome, man. I
thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. Thought it was educational. I thought it was helpful. I think it's great stuff, and I think what you do is amazing. And the fact that you found your passion, you can see how well you bring these levels to life with just light is fascinating. I think it's going to make some people start thinking, hey, there's more to it than just design. It also takes the lighting and other aspects as well. So again, thank you so much for coming out
Thank
here and
you.
showing us.
Yeah, and yeah, don't forget we have a 50% off on my tools. You can use lab, and you can open my website. You can just put the lab when you press checkout, and this is a promo code 50% off my tools. You can enjoy.
Awesome. Well, for our
Thank you.
community who's watching, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, Kareem, I hope we stay in touch. We'll talk more about this type of stuff. And again, thanks for